Hey Kickstarter, Thomas here, Lumander Studios, here with the entire design team, and we're going to go through a quick component explanation and gameplay video. And we're going to turn the camera around. Hello everybody, there's the gang, Dan and Aaron, Josh, Cameron, the squad, here we go. Alright, so this is our first prototype for Manatech, and we're going to go through this game. We'll start with the components itself entirely, and to give you that is going to be Aaron.
If you start looking at the board, we've got one of our first sample scenarios already set up. So a lot of the components are already in play, but we're going to take you through each of them one at a time and go over sort of how they work in the game. The first thing you really want to get a look at is the actual room tiles themselves. These are laid out in a specific pattern according to the scenario you're playing, but there's tons of different room tiles in the game that can be combined in different ways for each scenario. The first thing you'll notice on the tiles is the numbers. And these tell you where to place things throughout the game. Cameron will tell you a little bit more about that later. Moving on, you can see a lot of objects on our board. The doors are really important. They are double-sided, so they flip over when you open them. If we move around the table, we'll see all kinds of 3D objects that Josh has put together. These are punchboard components that slot together in specific ways to build the terrain you're going to play with as you go through the game.
Here. So you're going to punch them out, right?
Yeah, so here's a safe. This is the end result, and here are the individual punchboard components. So this is a pretty simple one. It just slots together. You got two sides, and these just lock in, and they're pretty stable. Once this is together, you won't need to glue it or anything. They're just, this one's even a bit tight because it's a bit of wiggle from the handmade aspect. But once that goes together, it's solid.
That's good, yeah, so you have a component, which is important because a lot of games that have these 3D components and stuff, they tend to fall apart pretty quickly, so you want to create something stable. So there's components, we have safes and pillars and chairs and computer desks, and what else we got?
Well, we got tons of those, and then moving on around the table, we've got our encounter cards, and Cameron will go into more detail on these later, but what these do is they tell you what to place on those numbers I pointed out in each of the rooms.
Right.
Moving on, each character's also got their own setup with character sheet, med kit that flips over when it's used and then is removed entirely, and upgrade cards unique to each character that give you more options for how to play each mission.
We got the Ronin, we got the mana manipulator, we got a hacker, and we got a face.
The face.
The face.
The last thing each character's got, and this is pretty important, is your dice. We've just got sticker dice in our prototype, but these will be etched in the final version. And they're used for every action in the game. You roll them for all kinds of challenges, you assign them for various benefits.
It's probably pretty safe to say that we'll have the special edition metal dice too. We'll have completely metallic dice etched, which you'll see in the reward tiers. What else we got?
So a lot of your difficulty in the game comes down to this threat track. As guards spot you and you make a ruckus in this corporate facility, the threat level starts to go up. Because they know there's a security breach, but once you really make a mess of things, the alarm is raised and then various things get harder. So that's where a lot of the central challenge comes from. Next to that, we've got our compass, and that just tells you which direction to move enemies as you play the game. Finally, we've got all kinds of tokens over here. So there's various enemy tokens.
And they'll be cut out, so they'll be cut around the shape of the actual...
Absolutely. There's going to be quite a few changes to these in the final version. The ones we've got right here, they do the job, but like the backs of them, we've just drawn on with markers so that you can see the facing. In the final version, they'll have a little bit more design done on them. And then we've got some placeholders for our traps, because there's a few 3D objects that still have to be put together for the final version. And these are just more obstacles that pop up on the cards to let you know that there's different challenges you're going to be facing.
There you go. There's a scenario setup.
Yeah, so I think that's all of our components. So from here, Cameron should be able to talk a bit about the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this scenario, it's pretty basic. Our heroes here have infiltrated this part of the compound to access this mainframe computer to get access to other levels. In order to do that, we either have to get somebody to go in and hack it directly, meaning we have to get through this map in the path that we think is best.
So all I want to do is play like Mission Impossible music now.
Yeah. So option one is we could try and sneak through here, get our hacker to the terminal, hack into it, and get back out. Our second option, maybe our team doesn't have a hacker, because there are going to be different character classes and we can take different loadouts with them. So if we don't have a hacker and we want to do things maybe more run and gun, this Iltherian that starts on the board here is the sort of the supervisor here. But anyways, he has a security clearance that we could defeat him to take, which will automatically hack this.
Amazing.
And you can see it's the shortest path, but in addition to the Eltherium, we've got 2 of those traps we were talking about. These are gun turrets. So these are going to be rotating
Oh, like Gatling guns.
whenever they activate, and if they spot you, they're going to start shooting at you a lot.
So there's 1 or 2 components that we didn't touch on, but I think it's probably best to address those in the gameplay itself.
All right, let's get started. All right, so what do you got here? We got our 4 characters.
Yep.
4 guys in an elevator.
Yep.
Ready to rock.
Normally this game, as part of the added difficulty and tension of the game to get the proper covert action going on, is that you will only have 60 seconds for all players to complete all of their actions in a turn, and then the enemies get to take their actions, and that's not timed.
So it'll be timed. So we'll have
Absolutely.
timed real-time elements followed by a bit of a stop time in between rounds.
Now, so that this video isn't just us hectically rolling dice and shouting instructions to one another and moving pieces around the board, we're going to slow it down, not use the timer, and actually explain what we're doing as we go.
Right, and then we have to do a total chaos round. So
Yes,
everyone needs to see
absolutely.
how chaotic this actually is going to be.
Yeah, this will be this is how things might go, and then we'll show things how
they
things
actually go.
go.
All right, let's do this. So let's pretend the timer was on, and we're
Absolutely.
slowly going.
So the very first thing I think we need to do is leave the elevator. So I'll spend a die, which gives me 3 movement points. 1 of them will be spent on opening the door, and then I'll go to 3 over to this.
Now, normally you would have drawn an encounter for this room, right? But because
Correct.
this is a scenario, it's already set
Yeah,
up.
because this scenario, the obstacle's already in this room according to the
we have
scenario.
there? We have a pillar, and we have
A potted plant.
cool-looking potted plant. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they may be an evil corporation, but they still like to spruce up the place.
They have a decorator, yeah.
It's important to keep their workers happy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the rest of these guys are doing,
But
but
by spending dice, you take the dice, and what do you do with them?
yeah, you set it aside. So you've got your dice pool, which these are the dice that I can roll for challenges. I can spend them on things. These are the dice I've spent, and once they're spent, they're done for the round. If I decide to roll 4 dice on a challenge, whether I succeed or fail that challenge, these are now all spent, and that's done.
And theoretically, you could use all 5 of those dice and just like sprint through the entire board. You could Leroy Jenkins it.
Like I could spend all of my dice just to run through the map. I could spend all of them on a single challenge just to really make sure I do it.
Yeah. But that's
or I
your
could-
choice of how you spend the dice.
Yeah. The one place where it's not your choice is if enemies wound you, your dice get locked in on your character sheet as part of your wounds, and you get less efficient at doing things. And if all of your dice wind up locked in, then your character is downed, and one of your teammates needs to either drag you to safety or heal you with their medkit.
Oh no, that's bad.
Yeah. So we're going to try and avoid that.
So you spent 1 die already. You're through the board.
Yeah, I moved out. I opened the door.
You want to scout that room first before we
Yeah,
come follow you?
absolutely. So first, I'm going to assign a die to one of my upgrades. It's called Security Clearance. It means that guards don't treat me as an enemy unless I get close to them. Because I clip on an ID badge, I walk with purpose. No one knows any better. Then I have
You're
to
the
spend
smooth operator.
another die to get 3 more movement so I can open this door. Now, as soon as the door is opened, we populate it with the encounter cards,
Flip over
as
the
we
capture
mentioned.
card. One second.
So the first thing we check is our alarm level is still at 1. So the first column here tells us what there is. So on all of the 1s in that room, we get an IR sensor grid. This thing will set off an alarm if we walk within 2 spaces of it.
Which is pretty much
these
Doesn't see you
spaces
yet.
here.
No, you got a little bit of space to
Yeah.
play with.
Walks down the hall nicely.
Good
On
game
number
designers.
2, we have a guard.
Now, we've got an interesting setup in this room because while that guard would normally spot him, his upgrades protected him. What it doesn't protect him from is that IR sensor if he gets too close to it.
Yes,
Right.
so we're going to have to find a way to deal with that. And on number 3, we're going to have a piece of furniture.
So the
Let's
guard,
put a nice
is he looking
armchair.
this way? Like what do you think? Because you notice that there's the back of the guard has been scratched out. So we actually have
That's
facing
actually
ones.
another nice thing is that the patrol tells you what direction enemies are facing at the start. And our compass rose, which is set up here, tells us that north is this way.
Okay.
So this guard is facing
Facing
towards
directly
us.
at the door. Perfect.
Yeah. So
He's doing his job.
you're
the
a
door
security
opens, I wave to him friendly, and he doesn't seem
He's
to
like, "What's up,
notice."
Joe?"
But only because you have the right upgrade.
Correct. Now,
Any
I
of the
don't
rest of us would
have
be in
means to
trouble.
deal with this guard myself right now. I've only got 2 dice left. So, I mean, I could move into the room and try and fight him, but if I get close, he's going to know I'm not who I say I am. Or I could... Actually, we could just try it. I'll try one of my other upgrades. It's called Suggestion. So I can change the facing of an enemy in line of sight if I get enough mana successes. And this is a good time to talk about die faces. So we've got our tech successes, we have combat successes, and a familiar symbol for anyone who's played our legacy games, we have our mana successes.
Right.
These last symbols that I rolled
are wild dice. Now, they don't just count as anything all the time. We've got certain skills, and that tells you how many wild symbols you can convert into the things you want. So I can convert one of them into a mana symbol. And because the alarm level is still low and their suspicion is low, that will be a success with that upgrade. So I'll convert that. These dice are spent,
And you
I
only
get
need one
to
to turn them, so you turn his face in.
Yeah, he just decides that there's something interesting over there now. And now my friends can move up
What in the world
without
could that
getting
be?
spotted by him.
Right.
So what are you guys going to be doing with your actions?
So that, keep in mind that was just one person figuring out what to do.
Yes.
And that, according to the timer here, took about 4 minutes to figure out and explain. And everybody would have to spend everything in 60 seconds.
Yeah, everyone else is just twiddling their thumbs in the elevator.
So what happens after the 60 seconds is up? And let's say like Dan didn't get to spend any of his stuff, or either Josh was like he still had 3 dice left to spend. Like, what would happen when the 60-second timer goes
As
up?
soon as the 60-second timer is up, all dice are considered spent, so players move them all to their spent pool. They can't take any further actions, and you go to enemy activation. And enemy activation is fairly simple.
Guards and enemies will always move in the direction they're facing until they encounter an obstacle.
All right, let's get to there. So you've spent your stuff. Let's see what you guys do. Let's just kind of discuss it and go through it.
Well, I could silent takedown, so I can go sneak up behind him.
And just give them the old sleeper hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron's giving you the window. So
Metal Gear Solid style?
let's do
Go
it.
for it.
jump through it.
Oh.
All right, so what character are you?
I'm the Ronin, so
Ronin?
I need 1, 2, 3, 4, so I need 2 dice. Lock in to move.
2 movement dice.
And up behind him.
3 more.
Well, I need to run behind him, so.
Okay, so you got 3 left.
3 left, so I'll roll all 3. Eats melee.
Get it? What'd you get?
Oh,
so you
no.
got
Successes.
so you got 2 techs and 1 mana.
So you snuck up behind him, all right.
Put your hands over his chin, over the back of his head, and that was
good.
pretty much it.
Now,
So he's turning.
he won't turn around immediately,
Right.
but he is now alerted because you have failed to successfully take him out. So these will be much nicer when they're proper punch board instead of handmade, but these are alerted tokens. So once these are on a guard, instead of following normal patrol routes, they will always move towards the nearest player that is in their room or in an adjacent room. In addition to that, every failed attack against a guard will increase the security level by 1. So that might not seem like much now, but once we're into the 2nd level, then we will start spawning more dangerous things every time we explore a room. And if there are ever no enemies on the table outside of objective enemies, then we will also start spawning enemies every turn.
Which
And
go
that
onto
could be a
these
problem.
weird spawn points here.
Yeah, these
open
doorways.
doors.
They're
Open
doorways
doors.
into other parts of the complex that we don't care about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or monster closets, if you prefer.
Monster closets, yes. You're standing on a monster closet. That's not good.
So with that sleeper hold not doing the trick, I think the time for stealth is over.
Yes.
Yeah, we've blown it for sure.
Guns
So-
blazing. Leroy Jenkins.
I'm going to walk into the room. Now, it's important to note that movement in the elevator doesn't take points. So I can start as if I was here and go 1, 2.
Why don't you want to go 1 more forward?
Oh, I don't want to get any closer to that sensor and set off the
good
alarm any
eye.
further.
Good eye.
But what I am going to do is I'm going to spend the rest of my dice, and I'm going to throw a lightning bolt at that
Come over
guard.
here and just check it out.
So this is a spell with range 3. The guard is well within my range, and I'm just going to roll my dice
We got mana.
Wow.
and get mana successes all around.
So what happens to that guard?
The guard only has a defense of 2, so if you meet or exceed that number with your roll, then he is defeated. So this guard will be gone, but anytime you defeat an enemy, it will increase the alarm level as well.
Yep.
Except
The
for
alarm level's
certain
going-
alarm
goes
rates.
up to 2.
Oh, the threat level's going up.
So some upgrades let you get rid of guards without increasing the alarm track. Hence the silent takedown we tried with the Ronin.
Yeah,
and failed.
Would have been good. Would have been nice.
you tried, bud.
Yes. He's new to the team. Yeah. So yeah, moving on. So you're done. So now we've got all we have left now to spend is
Yep.
Mr. Hacker.
So-
What are you gonna do, Hacker?
The best option, now that we know we've got the IR sensor grid, because I would obviously wait for the face to do his thing and scout the room. I have a signal jammer, so if I assign any one of my dice to that, traps and drones don't see me. And we'll get to drones later. We haven't properly encountered one of those yet. But if I've got signal jammer turned on, I don't care about that sensor, so I can go up to it and deal with it. So I'm going to spend. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm 4 spaces away from that sensor. If I start from the elevator, so I'm going to need 2
3
dice.
spaces per dice spent.
Yeah.
And
I can actually get all the way here. I think I'll
opening
go
and
there.
closing a door is also counts.
But my friendlies have done that for me, so I'm going to get over there,
Yep.
and then I'm going to attempt to disarm this trap.
Yep.
So even though you've walked into its sensor space, you get the option to disarm it before it goes off.
In this case, I'm actually ignoring it completely with my signal jammer upgrade.
Oh, so it doesn't even see you.
Yeah.
Much like how the guard didn't see
Go
it.
hacker. Okay.
Yeah, this is his bread and butter. So now he's going to try and disarm the...
And you have modifications for tech, it seems.
Yeah, he's got maximum tech skill. He is the best. So we're going to try for that.
Oh,
And I've
there you
rolled
go.
2 skills, so I can convert them both to tech successes.
And you needed 2 to disarm it?
Yeah, you needed 2 discernment.
Okay,
so we just remove this IR sensor from the board.
Gone.
Because nobody else cares about it now. It's ours.
Yep.
Wow, eh?
Yeah.
That was like a first round stealth mission.
And perfectly, the hacker is in position. The guard has been dealt with. I'm behind a chair, so no one's going to see me if they come through the door.
And the face, wow, that was
a pretty good turn. It
we
looked
couldn't
like
have planned that better, actually.
it looked like we were going to be in trouble, and we pulled it through.
Now, had we been on a timer, we might not have been that efficient in dealing with things. That could have gone a lot differently.
Which is interesting. Let's, what do you say we try a time round?
There's no accounting for panic.
Let's take a look through some enemy activation while we're here.
Oh, yeah, so the
Because
enemy
we're going to
activation.
see how this may or may not have gone awry after we were done what we were doing.
Right.
So when enemy activation starts, first the fastest enemies will go first, which will always be drones if they're on the map, because drones move 6 spaces every time they activate. Now, what's
Well, they're
neat about
flying, you know.
drones is that they don't have line of sight like all the various human enemies do. Drones instead have detect range like the IR sensors, but they will move around the map, making them very hard to avoid. If you have multiple units of the same type, like we've got multiple drones here, we follow the numbers on the actual units and go lowest to highest. So we just move them in order.
The number up there.
So this
5.
drone will move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enemies, of course, ignore doors because they have clearance. They're just going to open and close for them.
And then you're moving the drones move first in the round.
4, 5, 6. Now this drone still doesn't see the hacker because he still
Yay,
has that
signal
die on
jammer,
signal.
paying dividends.
Oh, dang.
As far as the drone knows, there's no one here because also with its detect range of 3, it still can't see outside. I expected that to go poorly because I miscounted the spaces.
Wow. Okay.
Then we have our guards who will only
and
move
they're
4
following this.
spaces.
They're following this directional thing here.
Yeah, they just go straight forward
always
until they
go
hit an
forward.
obstacle.
Now guards are different because you got a line of sight here.
Yeah. He doesn't actually, at least not on the hacker. If you are beside an obstacle, you're counted as hiding behind it.
And
So
this
he's
is an
crouched down behind this chair. The guard doesn't see him. But down the way, the guard does spot these 2 hoodlums.
Hold on a second. That is a comfy chair. Is that like leather?
Well,
These
only
guys
the
are-
best for an
these guys
evil
are living in
corporation.
style, right?
Plush, yeah.
Leather chairs? Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So because he's spotted 2 of us, he's going to increase the alarm level twice. And
we're
then
almost at alarm raised.
he's going to attack the closest threat, which is Monsieur Ronan.
Just a load in.
So he gets 2 attack dice.
So now, when the guards are attacking, who determines who's making the attack?
Anyone other than the person being attacked.
So it doesn't really matter which player picks up the dice?
It's a cooperative game.
All right, let's do it.
They're going to have their own pool of dice to roll
You can
for
take
this.
out Dan.
Yeah.
Good luck, Sir Dan.
I'm so sorry, Dan. Oh, so guards have a combat skill of 1, so this will get converted into a hit. And because the default defense on players is 1,
Now, what happens? See me there? What happens when you take a hit?
no matter how many successes they get, 1 hit will lock 1 of your dice as a wound.
All right.
So the Ronin now has his effective dice pool reduced by 1. He's now down to 4.
Interesting. So before we go into so I think that's it for the. No, does the Eltharian move?
The Eltharian, according to the scenario rules, being that he was placed there, will not move throughout the scenario unless he actively becomes aggroed.
Okay, perfect. So before we do a full live round, what if you wanted to heal? How would that happen, Dan? How would you heal this?
We have med packs, so you would first flip it over,
Yep.
and for every dice you assign to it, you can heal 1 dice.
So you take a turn to heal up.
Yeah.
Right, but you only get the med pack twice. So you flip it and then you remove it. So you get 2 chances to heal, and you have chances to get them back in the game. Actually, you can. There are things you can like
Yeah.
search, like the safes. If you crack the safes, you could get med packs in the safe.
Yes, they give you items.
So that's something you could do. You could heal it. So let's reset that, and then you guys want to run through an actual round?
But it's a bit tricky with the healing because depending on, you only get 2 uses of the medkit. It doesn't matter how badly hurt you are. The medkit will full heal you twice.
As long as you have enough dice to assign to it.
Yeah. However, that means that you don't want to use them right away for minor wounds because you've half used it then.
Right.
So there's a bit of a decision to be made. how wounded am I okay with being in the short term?
If someone gets 2 wounded to heal themselves in one go, an ally can always move adjacent to them and use their medkit to heal them.
Oh. All right, so you want to try and do a timed round?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one
We'll reset the board and see how we do on an actual time limit.
Okay, so it looks like everything is reset here because we're going to try and do this entire scenario with the actual timer. And how do we keep track of the time?
In the prototype right now, we're just using a timer on Dan's phone because then it will have some sort of horrifying klaxon, I'm sure, when we run out.
So when the timer starts, the round will begin. So right now, the heroes are in the elevator. I'm actually going to come over here to record it because it's a little more light on the heroes. Okay, so you guys ready to do this? 1 minute?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay,
Open door.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
Fine. 1,
All right,
2.
signal jam.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Are you really
Go
opening the
station.
center? Oh, okay.
No, he's
No,
not.
I'm going
crazy.
through. I'm not a combat character. I'm going to grab my security clearance and I'm going to spend another die to open this door and find out what's in it. What's my encounter?
All right, we got 1, 2, and 3. 1 is a safe.
Nice.
2 is a wall. Perfect.
You can see that Aaron moved his character while
3
they're
is
setting
a
up the
drone. So
room
there
to
are
save
2
time.
drones
Yep.
there.
Oh, I can't hide from drones.
Nope. And I think
fact,
you're within 3, so
The
you've
first
been
one has
found.
already spotted me.
So the track has gone up.
Yep.
Track will go up by 1, and
he's alerted.
25 seconds
both
left in the
of
round.
these drones will become alerted. Because if one enemy becomes alerted, they alert their friends. So I'm going to need help, guys.
I'm going to go ahead and attack that first round.
What's the round doing?
Oh, I got no successes.
Spend 2
Roland's
dice
got
to move in
14
there.
seconds
Move that
left.
up.
2, 3.
Try and get this drone.
I'm going to do the smart
Do you
thing.
have movement left?
Are you abandoning us?
I'm just hiding behind this plank.
Yeah, I hit it.
Hit it. So you hit the drone.
It's gone.
This is gone.
Nice.
I can still pull this out.
That's it. No more
All
movements.
right,
Okay.
one die unused.
So 1 die unused. So let's go through that quickly. So everyone was moving around there at the same time. As people were setting up the room, other characters were moving around. Combat happened. The meta manipulator managed to not attack the drone, and then Dan came in and managed to take one out, but 1 drone is still alerted. So now
I didn't have a chance to roll my last die to smack it, but it wasn't great odds. I needed 1 success, and it would only be 2 skills plus 1 tech. It would have been 50-50 at best.
and at that point we've got ourselves almost at a full security breach for that round.
Absolutely.
He hasn't seen me though. I don't know. That looks like it went up too many times.
Failed attacks will also raise it, remember?
Oh right. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't
So-
attack him.
So one of the good things about
you did.
one of the good things about the in between the rounds is that it gives you a chance to actually go through and sort of catch up on what just happened, and you can see where all those oopses happened, if there were any.
Now, it may look like I was leaving you guys behind, but I was actually just moving to a more strategic
Oh,
position.
yeah, it was a tactical withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys had this covered. I was just.
Right.
I'm watching your back.
So at this point, we now activate the enemies, and what happens then?
So when we activate these enemies, drones will activate first,
Yeah,
and we
so-
will still move in order. So the lowest number will go first. He'll move his 6. This guy will move his.
The last scenario was a really interesting setup at this point.
And then this guy, because he doesn't have to move anywhere, he's already got a target-rich environment. He's just going to shoot the nearest person. Now, drones are less scary than guards. They only get 1 die, and they count combats and techs as successful hits.
Who's the drone shooting? How do you
Ronan.
dictate?
He will shoot the hacker because the hacker is closest. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I
can't
didn't
see
see you
the-
die there.
yeah, 'cause the way it's
I was too
supposed
busy, with tactical withdrawal.
But what's good about that is that you're like, okay, it's gonna attack the drone because you're in the enemy player at this point, and then Josh is like,
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm good.
He's like, no, I'm invisible.
Punching my keyboard. I'm good.
So yeah, the Ronin is now the closest because he's 2 spaces. We never count diagonals in this game. It's
Right.
all orthogonal movement and ranges.
Ron is always the one being attacked.
Every time.
Every
damn time. Every
He's very
damn time.
aggressive. It's okay.
All right, so Mr. Drone. Oh, does not succeed. Unlike
Okay.
the guards, they don't have combat skill to convert these.
Right.
So the drone misses the
Whap,
run.
whap, 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 and misses the drone. So that resets the round to the next round. Ready for the timer? We'll do one more round.
Absolutely.
You gotta go away. The rest of the guards move and stuff. Okay, actually, is all enemy movement done?
No, hold on. The turrets will move. They will always just rotate clockwise each turn.
Which is good because if you're in their line of sight, you can move around their line of sight.
Yeah, you can try and duck and weave around them.
Now, here's an interesting question. You have the jammer on, and the
Yep.
dice is there.
Yep.
We're resetting our dice right now.
Yep.
You don't have to take that die off.
Right. I can leave it there for as long as I want. Part of my focus, action, whatever it is, I'm just basically going to leave it turned on.
Perfect. So,
I'm
yeah,
going to
you
sit
have-
there clicking my keyboard and making sure that no one bothers me.
So you have less dice quality for anything else, but you're
Yeah.
definitely being the one that's going to slip through it.
I,
I'm
on the
20%
other hand,
distracted.
I'm going to take away my security clearance because that doesn't help me against drones.
You need your dice for combat or anything else in here.
Yeah, smack
and
it.
the Ronin is not hurt, which we're this time around, so we're good. So let's do another round. Ready for the timer?
Dodge that shot.
Boom. Let's do this.
Timer?
Timer up. Now we all know Dan's code.
It's immortalized on
The
film.
world can see Dan's code.
You can censor that, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, round.
I'm going to kill the drone.
All right, go for it.
Oh, we're just gonna go all out?
Bang. Yeah, it's dead.
Okay, so the drone is gone. You guys are clear for the round.
So it goes up by 1. I'm going to do the safe.
Turn security clearance. Turn security clearance. Reopen that.
Yeah. Spend dice for movement, die for security clearance.
I fail the safe. 2 successes for safes, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, fail.
One more die to open this door. Wish me luck, guys. We've
I'll leave my
got
last die and see what's up.
an Eltharian Shrine on 1, a
Okay.
wall on 2, and a guard on 3. So luckily the guard's around the corner because he's facing this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that shrine is bad news.
Well, bad news for some people.
25 seconds left in the round.
Yeah,
What's the round
I'm
do?
spent. I got 1 die left.
I'm gonna walk up to the shrine. Oh,
Yep, I'm just going to enter the
I'm just
room.
going to move.
Remember that the guard's still there.
5, 6. Can you see me?
Nope, not yet. 10
Well, the shrine
seconds.
gives you
How do I deal with
cover.
the shrine?
Attack it.
Two combats.
2 successes. Okay, you destroyed the shrine.
Okay.
Boom. What does the shrine do?
The shrine.
Time up. Oh, that's why I asked it. Oh, nice. Trying to take your time away from you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am the Eltharian Knight. Yeah.
So the Eltharian Shrine, much like the Knights is named after, is an anti-magic device. So as long as that's there, spells cannot be cast if you are within 2 spaces of it, and spells can't target enemies that are within 2 spaces of it.
Oh gosh.
So no magic zone. It just absorbs
You got.
all
What
that
did you shoot it
magical
with?
power.
You shot it with your.
I think he just hit it with his
I
sword.
did my sword.
Oh, you hit it with your sword. Nice.
Just beat it to
Crunch.
Yeah.
Ron finally hit something. Hey-o.
Hey, you can hit things that don't move.
Okay, so
Evidently.
that's. I think people got an idea as to what the game's about. I think this is a long enough video for. Thanks for your attention, folks. Any last touches on anything we should talk about, or?
I think we pretty well got everything. We could go into a little more detail on the traps and things. Some of that's going to be included in the sample rulebook anyways. So I think that's probably enough information.
We got to save something for you for later.
That's right. So there we go. So we've,
I'll probably change my phone code.
yeah, changing the phone code would be good. So these are the components that you should come to expect. These are prototypes that have been built. Nothing here is set in stone.
Yeah, there's a little bit of polishing to do still on the graphics for the game board itself. We're finding in our testing that the door tokens, while they're really nice and play well with the perspective, we find they're a little big and they can be a little bit clumsy to manipulate when you have a lot of pieces stacked together.
Right.
So there's a lot of little tweaking that still has to be done and that sort of stuff.
But you're going to get all these really cool 3-dimensional
Yeah.
devices that'll give the board a little more presence.
These are pretty close to final. I think we've been pretty happy with them.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And we got these little computer terminals as well. Like, it's kind of interesting. I like these little computer terminals. They've even got some code on there. Maybe they got Dan's phone code.
Here we go. So I'm just going to sit in this chair.
Ace is chilling out in the chair. Well, thank you very much
Well, he's
for
got a
watching
security
this.
clearance. No one's going to dispute that.
Listen, thanks so much for watching this. Let's see. Am I in frame?
You're in the frame.
All right. Looking forward to answering any of your questions in the comments. Please go to Board Game Geek and vote up our site, and go to Facebook and share and pledge. And looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.